Teaching Tolerance and Embracing Diversity by Adriana Rasmussen. Teaching Tolerance and Embracing Diversity. We are going to talk about tolerance and diversity in our school. To reduce discrimination and achieve sustainable integration of an increasingly diverse community, as educators must underline the barriers to learn that might cause us to fail. Tolerance acts as a vehicle to overcome those barriers to learning in diversity, a learning community in our school. Fostering tolerance and embracing diversity in our schools is beneficial to ourselves, to the students, and to the whole community. We are raising students to become better human beings. We acceptance and we love to all. We want to create a world united. What opportunities can I create to enable people from underrepresented groups to bring new perspectives to our team, acquire experience, and move into a higher level positions? I think about that every day. We as educators, that's what should be in our mind. A world united. Our united world has a wide range of qualities and attributes within a person, group, or community. When we celebrate diversity, schools and communities becomes richer as they draw upon the variety of experience, perspectives, and skills that people can contribute. How can we as educators, how can we accomplish a united world? We should become more aware of the diversity around us. We should incorporate a diversity of perspectives. We can create a positive and respectful work environment. We can create a workforce and services representative of our community, address systematic barriers and inequities people face. A world united. Diversity is about differences. All differences are important. We all fit together as a puzzle. Learn, listen, support, and take action is our responsibility as educators. It's not enough to say, I did not intend to be hurtful. It's the actual impact that matters, regardless of our intentions. We are a puzzle fitting together. How can we support this? We have to become listeners. We have to become aware of our own advantages and disadvantages and how can we use them to make a difference. We should also teach our students the same. We can check the assumptions as to unlearn biases and stereotypes. We stand beside and walk within together. We walk with each other. We speak up against harmful comments and insulting actions rather than wait for others to point it out. We take steps to make a workplace and our school inclusive, safe, and welcome to all our students. We help others to understand discrimination and exclusion. We want them to be included. We avoid the trap of knowing what's better for them and understand. Instead, we need to encourage their leadership. We share power. We realize that being an ally requires an ongoing learning, and we should listen more and more. A good activity that we can use in a classroom is to build a strong classroom community. Is the research? It's a puzzle made up of pieces that fit together. We can either print out the resources and cut out pieces, or you can make a printout and copy for each one of their students. The idea is for each student to sign their name on a piece of the puzzle. You can hang this visual in your classroom as a reminder that each person in the class is part of the classroom community. Types of diversity. Diversity is not only defined by the student's heritage. As educators, we all should be aware of all the diverse learners we will find in our classroom. They can be geographical, physical, emotional, mental, gender, sexuality, cultural, moral, religion, and many more. As educators, we should be aware of all different types of diversities that represents our classroom. Together, we are the big change. We educate, we reform, we explain, we teach, we remind them, and we respect all of our students. It's our responsibility to create a climate of respect. What to look for in our classroom? We should look for if the students are engaged and respected. Students, families, and educators, we should work together to develop and contribute to a shared school vision. Are we educators having modeling and nurturing an attitude of tolerance that emphasizes the benefits of diversity and satisfactions of learning? Each person contributes to the operation of the school and the care of the physical environment. It's our responsibility to create a climate of respect. There are five strategies that we can look forward to use in our classroom. One is to create opportunities for group decision making. One open dialogue engaging students in a demographic process in which compromises rather than competition is crucial to make decisions. We can, second one, we can democrat, democratize the space. Third, use multidimensional group projects and vary the composition of the groups. A group project should highlight different learning styles and skills. Geographic, textual, presentation, creative, and other components should have equal importance. Successful competition of the project will require interdependence amongst the group members. Another one is very protocols for classroom sharing. Student sharing in classroom typically comes through talking or writing. And the fifth one is to create conflict around issues. When discussing issues in class, provide a more realistic experience of what a complex issue is. Taking different sides of an issue, not to complete, not to compete or win, but to come to a collective decision. Creates a demographic experience that demonstrates the meanness and complexity of the process. As educators, we educate, reform, explain, teach, remind, and respect. We are the big change. Have a climate of respect in your classroom. It's so important for us to utilize diversity friendly materials. As example, books. Multicultural books are a great example to use in the classroom. Images. Think about a boy doing a ballet or a woman working a construction. Show your students that there is no gender, there is no type. Also, murals. Murals are so essential for them so they can see themselves. They appreciate their own images. Magazines. There are tons of magazines out there with multicultural information that you can share in your classroom. Artwork, musical instrument. As an example, the berimbau, an instrument from Brazil. Are you sharing all those things in your classroom? Did you make a check to see if you are present friendly, diversity friendly materials in your classroom? If you know, now is the moment. Please stop for a moment and think about how can you add and utilize diversity friendly materials in your classroom. Unity helps to build community, accepting differences in different perspectives. We are so lucky to have you. Have your students welcome. Accepting difference means understand how we are alike and how are the difference in treating everyone with respect and understanding regardless of the difference between each other. Diversity is a good thing as it makes the world a much more fantastic, fascinating place. Mixing with those that are different from us means we are getting a sense of connection with them. We learn more about the world and ourselves in the process, which helps us grow intellectually and spiritually. Did you ever take time to get to know your students, to get to know the person besides you, to really listen to them rather than relying on a quick judgment? Assume the role of an explorer and be fascinated by the unique person's traits, background, cultures, schooling, and life experience. See the differences in others as an expression of their attractiveness and beauty. Consider how much you like it when you feel accepted. Acceptance is a gift that gives back. Imagine how it might improve your relationship with someone if the person felt you accepted him or her fully. Decide to treat them with the same degree of respect that you'd like to be treated. It's just a good karma. The words you speak, it's so important. Pay attention to the words you use in your classroom. Equality, equity, intersectionality, neurodiversity, non binary, also known as genderqueer, unconscious bias, and justice. I'm sure you have seen that picture everywhere. Equality, equity, and justice. Did you really pay attention what does that picture means? Have you removed the barriers? I'm sure you have seen that picture. But however, did you really understand it? How can you bring this concept to your classroom and your school? In the first picture, three boys of different heights are standing on a box at the same height to help them look over a wooden fence to watch the ball game. But the church boy cannot see over the fence. It's assumed that everyone will benefit from the same support. They are being treated equally. In the second image, the tallest boy has no box. The second tallest boy has one box, and the shortest boy has two boxes and stand on. So they are able to see over the fence at the same height. They are given different support to make it possible for them to have equal access to the game. They are being treated with equitably. In the third image, the fence has been changed to a see-through fence. All three can see the game without any support or accommodation because the cause of inequity was addressed. The systematic barrier has been removed. Did you remove the barriers in your classroom? Be attentive to the words you use with your students, with your coworkers. Words are so powerful. We might think that the wind takes them away. It might be true, but the words stay with the listeners. Pay attention to the words. Use words of welcoming. We use words to appreciate your students, to remove all the barriers in your classroom. I will give you a time to think when you look at the next picture. Look at the picture on your left side with the elephant and all the animals. To get the fruit, you must climb the tree. Think for a moment. What is your conclusion? Does this happen in the service you provide? What can you do differently to ensure inclusion? I'm going to give you some ideas and understanding today. However, the amount of resources out there are limitless. Find what fits you, what fits your classroom. Don't be overwhelmed. One step at a time. Be the change you wanted to see. Activities that I'm going to share with you. One of them is the quotable quotes. Type quotes from civil rights activities onto strips of papers or into index and hand it to students a strip as they exit to lunchtime. Once the students are settled, have them discuss their quotes with others sitting at the table. Another activity can be, what is your name? Have students to go around their table, introduce themselves, and tell people about their name. For example, what does your name mean? Are you named after someone? What do you like about your name? Another activity is building sentences with stories. One person say a word that will start a sentence. Then the next person choose a word that the next word in the sentence and says it out loud. Students continue until the group has constructed an entire sentence. The next person whose turn is to speak recites the whole sentence. Then the group begins again, creating a sentence to follow the first one. Students can think of the activity as creating a story, one word, one sentence at a time. Another good activity that you could be using in your classroom is fact or fiction. Each person writes down four facts about themselves. One of it is not true, as each person takes a turn reading their list out loud. The rest of the group writes down one fact they think it's not true. After everyone has read their list out loud, each person then relieves the fact that is not true. Group members compare their written responses with the correct answers. Last is, what do we have in common? Divide the students into pairs. Give each pair 30 seconds to find 5 things they have in common. At the end of 30 seconds, put two pairs together and give the group a minute to find something all four students have in common. Finally, each group can present the list of things they have in common. Use your classroom to unite your students. Show them that each one of them is powerful, independent of their religion or any diversity they might carry in the school. Have them match as a puzzle and help them taking all the barriers away from them. There are so many activities that you can use. I give you just a few examples, but I'm sure you can find many resources out there. All around the world, sitting in a small classroom, sharing love and understanding of life. We are so beautiful, we are so unique. We are so lovable. We deserve love and respect, just like our students. Embrace the beauty of each one of them. It's your classroom. You have the responsibility to tolerate and to embrace diversity. We must take in consideration what the students have been carrying. Did you ever take in consideration what your students have been carrying? Sometimes we think we know the students, but do we really know them? Are we connected to them? Are we understanding of what we don't see? How can we try to be more understanding? I can't stop saying it's our responsibility. Think, as a teacher, we're supposed to think, to brainstorm, to bring united, to bring love, to bring acceptance, to bring tolerance to our kids. Did you ever stop and think what is going on in your student's life? How can we as a teacher help a student to become motivated and feel welcoming? The students are different and they all carry a different baggage in one way or another, and it's our responsibility as educators to support them, to help them, to guide them, supporting without any bias. Be the teacher that you always wanted to have. It's a celebration. Cultural celebration foster respect and open-mindedness for all other cultures. All human beings, we are revealed to make ourselves known to one another by infinite varieties of intelligence, language, race, values, politics, religion, national serves, gender presentation, philosophy, and a host of other elements common to humankind. The recognition of common humanity is the first step in the celebration of our differences. Differences that uniform our cultures, our values, our minds, and all ways of being in the world. Diversity is the chief of informant of the creative life force and the central reality in our understanding and stewardship of it. Celebrate diversity. Did you stop and celebrate diversity today? Let's do it together. Let's say together. Let's celebrate diversity. We have the responsibility to support and reinforce love. We talk about differences, we talk about cultural, we talk about many things. But love is so important. Students should love it oneself, to love each other, support. They need support and guidance. We are all humans in the same world. We're supposed to appreciate all our students and put that in action, not just spoken words. If it's that one thing I want you to remember from this presentation today, is that we add to each other. Always remember that. We add to each other. That's what makes us a community. In conclusion, teaching tolerance and embracing diversity is our responsibility as educators to ensure our differences will add to each other like a puzzle, and we will spread love, acceptance to our students, school, and community. Remember, our birthplace is Earth. Our race is human. Our politics is freedom. And our religion is love. Embrace our love. Together, we are one. To conclude, be the change you wanted to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. Take action. Thank you all for listening. And I hope I bring some lightness to your classroom today. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to be here for a little bit more just for you. Remember, we add to each other. Love, namaste. Together, we are one. References.